Chapter 8 of 20K20. Here we go. I'm thinking we both head south and wait right at the edge of the WKU field. We sit a few days and we wait for other teams to pass on through. Then we can meet up again. Soon as we've let a few teams pass on their way to tech, you and me meet back up and head northwest on WKU. I know we talked about heading up to Iowa before we cut west, but I'm saying don't fuck with any of that. We gotta get these balls cross country fast as we fucking can, you know? I think we just cut west on Oklahoma State and then run our asses straight to Stillwater, meet up with Mike and them at Grambling there. That's a lot of time to spend on one field, but fuck it. The west was pretty empty to start with. And then there's just two of us. We can hide if someone comes through. Probably up a tree somewhere if we have to. You know? Okay. Well, what do you think? Okay. Plus, I issued a challenge. They say they can give me back those 10 seconds of OBT. They said it was a scorer's error. Okay. Babe, why the fuck did you do that? It's the only way I could have done it, Manny. Only way. You know it wasn't. Look, you gotta trust me to throw. You said you trusted me to make the throw. I tried to do the math with all the cars on it, and it was just too much involved. Way more weight. That could make it coast too long. Way more wheels. That's way more resistance. There was no way I had to simplify. Like, I had to feel it. The engine and 3 cars, I couldn't get a grip on that. But if it's just the engine, I feel I could. You punked out. You punked out on that shit. Oh, come on. Mike, tell you to do that shit? I mean, not exactly, no. I don't understand why if breaking off the cars was such a big deal, I don't understand why you can't just break off the connector thing. The coupler, I already told you why I couldn't do that. With these new ones, you can only do it from the cab. There's no release on the coupler itself. You gotta do it remotely. And it just took me a minute. For the whole thing to boot up and all, it just took me a minute. Yeah, literally a minute. More than that. You needed every second of that to cross the desert. You and me were a team, you know? We gotta make decisions together. You have no right to just pop off and do shit like that. I know, I just knew that. I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do without you, Nick? If I can make it home and you can't, I still can. I can still try. Yeah, with fucking, what's the math? You're gonna run 3 minute 20 miles? I mean, you know I've been training. Yeah, on the treadmill in Atlanta, in air conditioning, running flat. And you still couldn't hit that. But look at you though. You're still gonna have almost all your time. I mean, look what I did for you. I made a fucking miracle happen. And I'm like, you're putting me in the shit here. I pulled off a fucking miracle. Did for me? Best thing you could have did for me is keeping your time. Giving me a partner. Giving me my fucking husband. Look, come on. I mean, what happens if coach calls you back? I bet if I was coach, I'd look at your time and be like, no, you gotta wait. You gotta wait on the field another 100 years. And then she'd make me try and run it by myself. Babe, I don't want to do 100 years without you. I know. I could do it. I'd wait 100 years. Would you wait for me? Hi everybody. Please get everybody's attention. Hey folks, if I could just have a minute before we get started. Thank you. I'd just like to welcome everybody to the game night at Illinois Chess Club. This is the first night of the fall season, and I'm happy to see so many new faces. I think some of you have already met her, and if you haven't, I'd like to announce that we've got a celebrity in the room tonight. Over there at table number 7, we've got Laurie Irving as a special guest. Laurie's a college football player with Texas A&M. If everyone could give her a hand. Laurie, how familiar are you with Illinois chess? Hi, actually this is my first time playing Illinois chess. I've played some standard chess tournaments, but this is a new one for me. I'm sure I'll pick up the rules as I go. But we're so happy you're here, and I hope you enjoy the Illinois variant. What brings you to Illinois? Unless you don't want to leak too much of the playbook. Oh no, not a problem at all. I'm playing prevent for Texas A&M. I was just assigned to a position a couple of years ago. And I know you've got a lot of football fans. We've got a lot of football fans in the room. But for those who aren't familiar, what does it mean to play prevent? Well, Northern Illinois is one of the fields we think of as sort of the gateway to the West. It runs north-south, and my job is to patrol up and down the field and sort of be ready to try and make an interception if someone tries to bring a football out west. Or if there's a whole team and I can't take them on, I'll just scout them and let my teammates know. So you're playing chess in the middle of a football game. I guess you can do it all, huh? Well, we'll see. Wish me luck. Of course. Good luck to Laurie and everyone else here. And I think everyone's aware, but I'm obligated to let everyone know, just for the record, this building is on Northern Illinois' field. We don't expect any disruptions, and we've never run into a situation like that. But if there is a football coming through the area, and we've got action in here, I've received approval from the Illinois Chess Association to suspend matches or nullify results. If there were to be any disruption in play, I'd meet both players of the match, of each match, and find a resolution that works for everybody. Alright, that's all from me, unless there are any questions. Okay, great. I'll be here in case anybody has any questions or needs or any rule clarifications. Have a good match, everyone. Good luck. Good luck. You're the banker. Whoever plays black is the banker. Oh, alright, sure. What? I'd like to buy Jole, please. Here is $400. So what does that get you? Well, now I can charge rent on this square. It's 10%. So if you ever move a piece to Jolette, you'd have to pay me $40 every turn you spend on it. Jesus Christ. Is everything alright? No, yeah. No, sure, yeah. Alright, E3. Are you gonna buy Aurora? Nah, I don't think so. So I'll just tell you because you're new. You definitely want to buy as many squares in the middle of the board as you can. That's why they're so expensive. I'll pass for now. Suit yourself. D4. Knight C6. Declining the gambit, huh? Okay. Here's $1,000. Annexing Rockford and Juliet. Troilo. What? What's that? Rook factory. Every 4 turns I get a rook now. If I annex a third adjacent property, that accelerates to 3 turns. Okay. Capturing on d4 then. Gotta bust up your factory. Can't do that. I can't? No, sorry, you need to build a consortium first. How do I do that? To build a consortium, you move both bishops to the same file, and then leave them there for 10 turns. For those 10 turns, you can't move a piece. Basically, building a consortium counts as the move. This is something else. You'll pick it up pretty quickly. Is there any significance to the city names themselves? Nah, not really. It's pretty much the biggest cities in the middle, and then it just sort of spirals out into smaller towns. Too bad Iuka didn't make it on here. We got more history than almost any city in Illinois. I mean, this is where Alexander the Great is buried. What? Okay, so you've got one more turn before you earn the consortium. Once that happens, you... Wait, tell me the Alexander the Great thing again? Oh, well, yeah. Somewhere around here, the remains of Alexander the Great and Cleopatra are buried. Okay. I'm serious, ask around. Anyone in this town will tell you. Haha, alright. We're not sure of the exact year, but around 100 BC, a bunch of colonists from Greece, and some Phoenicians, and some people from northern Africa fled to the Old World with a bunch of treasure, and that included the remains of Ptolemy, Cleopatra, and Alexander the Great. They sailed their ships up through the Mississippi River, then started exploring the land. Eventually, they got to Illinois and found some caves around here, and evidently, they thought it was the perfect place to hide the treasure. Now, around that time, there was Salem, Illinois. Here in a remote southern Illinois valley between Big Tater Hill and Little Tater Hill, a Florida archaeologist exploration company claims to be on the cusp of a discovery of global significance, that the remains of Alexander the Great, Ptolemy, and Cleopatra are in the area of Illinois. And you see, the thing to know about that is, these were clearly Phoenician ships. They found rock carvings of Alexander the Great in the classic Greek style, Now, as to exactly where, that's what NASA's secretly been trying to find out for quite a long time, but it's very difficult to. What is really going on down near the region that, coincidentally, has long been known as Little Egypt? Are the Florida treasure hunters on the verge of the greatest discovery since King Tut's tomb? Are they the true believers themselves, or are they just involved in some sort of sorry scam? We are legitimate businessmen. And I mean, think about it. Those academic types have every reason to discredit us. If people from Greece and Libya came to Illinois 1,000 years before Columbus did, that topples over every pillar in their ivory tower. It disrupts their whole worldview. So of course they're going to say that all of this is made up. But ask yourself this: if it's a hoax, how come every time you ask someone in Iuka about Alexander the Great, every single one of them will tell you his bones are nearby? Are all those people just magically wrong? You know what I think, if we're being honest, is that a fateful day 16 years ago when he stepped on a booby trap that opened a stone lid on a pit, he managed to cling to the side of the pit and escape. He also encountered a male spirit guarding the tomb. His name is Charlie. He was with me 24 hours a day, and sometimes he would jabber all night. Wrote also of playing cat and mouse in the woods near the cave with a swarthy Azoting men, whom he believes were searching for his find. But of course he blew up the cave entrance because he didn't want anyone looting his treasure he found, and in all the years since, we haven't been able to find the entrance. But based on his journals, we know it's somewhere south of Iuka. That much we know to be a scientific fact, and he gave a false description of its location in his book to throw off looters, he said. Kind of a breakaway segment of us who think it was extraterrestrials. Me, I'm a scientist, so I think every theory is worth exploring, but I don't think there was anything of an extraterrestrial nature at work here. Nothing supernatural or anything, just a lost chapter of history. Anyways, I've been rambling, so it's been 10 turns now, so you're eligible to challenge my factory in the annexed squares. Could you move your stuff off the table here? You actually believe this? All of this shit? It's not a joke, you actually believe it. Well, yes. Could you move your stuff off the table? We need it for the arbitration phase of the game. Now that you've earned a consortium, you can now use the arbitration to try and take my factory off the board. If you could we need more room on the table. Now you're in arbitration mode. In order to enter the 4 sanctums, you're going to have to need to either a rook or a queen or a king. If you're desperate, since you have to move horizontally along the corridors. To win arbitration, you must defeat the knight, bishop, pawn, and rook you see before you. Beware the 4 sanctums, traveller. Wizards and warlocks await ye. Goblins and ghouls round every corner. Wow. So you can move, You can move whenever. I was wondering, you're really cute. I mean, I think you're really pretty. And I was wondering if you'd want to go on a date sometime. Or this could be a date right now, if you wanted to count it as a date. I've got a lot more stuff about the ancient hidden treasure cave I could tell you. There's other variants to this game we could play too. There's an expansion set where if you land on Chicago, the game transfers to another board that represents Cook County. And you're awarded a new type of piece called a councilman, who, you roll a set of dice, and however many you roll is how many spaces the councilman moves. Personally, I don't think it's a very strong piece, but there are some strong players who play up in the Rockford chapter who have found some really interesting ways to utilize it. Since the vizier moves both horizontally and vertically, it's a good way to establish control of a given rank or file, especially in the early game, when you typically haven't developed your rooks yet. The vizier, on the other hand, starts the game on the second rank with the pawns, so you can immediately seize control of a rank or file. Even if you can't do so with much precision, there's no way of knowing how many spaces the dice will let you move, but it does discourage your opponent from stepping into its field of attack. Of course, the Cook County board is about 10 feet wide, and even though you get 304 pieces and 304 pawns, you only get one vizier. So essentially it's a gimmick option in the vast majority of options. I usually just sacrifice my Vizier early in the game so I can set up a strong pawn structure in the Cicero area of the board, or Skokie, depending on how the game's going. Or wait, I've been saying Vizier instead of Councilman. Did I say Vizier? Anyways, it used to be called Vizier, but it's the Councilman in the new version. I've actually gotten both versions at my house, and we can play either one. There's no actual difference between the two versions, except from one of them. The special piece is called the Vizier, and the other newer version is called the Councilman. There's a really good gas station next to my house. Bzzzt, 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 bzzzt. I've got to take this, excuse me. Just for your information, according to the chapter rules, if you leave a table during a match, you have to surrender $1.38 in-game money for every minute you're absent. Okay. Coach, Christ, thanks for calling. You got me away from a situation. There's this guy, I told you I'm at the chess club tonight, and this guy keeps talking about... Yeah, I'm in Iuka right now. From here? I guess I'd just take the WKU field and hit Georgia Tech that way. About 350 miles, probably. What happened? I don't know. I don't think they have a TV here. All right. Checking. Excuse me, I'm sorry. A little bit of a weird question, but I don't suppose you happen to have a TV here? We do. Sorry to be annoying, and I hate to ask, but could I turn on the news for a minute? Did something happen? Apparently. I'm on the phone with my coach, and he says something's going on. Oh, well, alright, sure. Something about the game? Yeah, he's just saying to look at the scoreboard. What channel? What channel? He says any channel. Okay. Some really stunning movement here, Chuck. So if you follow me over to the big board, I could get the camera to follow me over here. There are a few college football. These are the college football rankings. What you're seeing here is that we just saw it live in the newsroom just minutes ago. Sponsored by Kimberly Simmons. My roll of aluminium foil is messed up because I have too many things in the kitchen drawer where I keep it. When I went to open it, the box part got caught and the box is all ripped up. So I can't use the sharp edge thing to tear pieces off anymore. so relatable. In an instant, 58 teams jumped up a spot in the leaderboard. So if you're South Carolina State, congratulations to you. You now sit in sole position of 3rd place. If you're Cincinnati, Howard, or Texas, congratulations to you. You're now tied for 4th ranked team in the nation. Jesus, Georgia Tech. Congratulations also to Oklahoma. After some 400 years out of the top 25, you now find yourself back there as you pull into the tie for the 12th. But the big story, of course, Chuck, and the movement that shifted more than half the teams in college football up the rankings is Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets are in free fall. 1 second they were a number 3 team in the nation, the next they plummeted into tie for the 40th place. Given that teams with equal numbers are listed alphabetically, it seems almost certain that Tech, however many footballs they had, lost every single one of them. What we're seeing here, folks, is not the fading of a dynasty. It's not the crumbling of a dynasty. It's a dynasty. It's a dynasty that's vanished in an instant. And I can only imagine what the scene is tonight at Bobby Dodd Stadium. I don't believe this. Do you have to leave? In a minute, probably. The question now for all of us in the newsroom, for every team in the nation, and for all the amateur sleuths on the internet message boards, the mystery we'll be trying to solve in the coming days, weeks, perhaps even years is this. Where are those footballs? 2 schools of thought are already forming among our news team here in Los Angeles. One supposes that they've all moved to Georgia Southern, whose field shares an intersection with Georgia Tech's. Oh, nah, it wasn't that. But Chuck, this would require a very specific set of circumstances here. Let's zoom in on the top 3. At the top 3. You'll notice, you'll notice that the top 2 teams in the country, Michigan State and Georgia Southern, didn't move an inch. Of course, we don't know exactly how many footballs they have. Our best estimates previously put Michigan State around 25 and Georgia Southern at least 20. At Georgia Tech at 15 or very close to it. So let's just do some pretend math here. Again, these are nothing more than guesses, so let's play it out here. If our estimates are anywhere near correct, Tech's footballs could not have transferred to Georgia Stadium. That would have given them 35, which would have knocked Michigan State out of the top spot. That did not happen. The Spartans didn't move. And since we can be virtually certain that Georgia Tech lost every one of their footballs, not just a portion of them, I think at the moment it's much more likely that either Tech moved them just off the field somewhere for safekeeping, or an opponent stole them and did the same. At any rate, we've now got half the teams in the country making a beeline for Tech's field. We've got reports that TCU is sending 35 players, Kentucky sending dozens. There is blood in the water, and Chuck, this is the most seismic event college football has seen in hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. If not 1,000 years. If our estimates are anywhere near correct, Tech's footballs could not have transferred to Georgia Southern. That would have given them 35, which would have knocked Michigan State out the top spot. That did not happen. The Spartans didn't move. And since we can be virtually certain that Georgia Tech lost every single one of their footballs, not just a portion of them, I think, at the moment, it's much more likely that either Tech moved them just off the field somewhere for safekeeping, or an opponent stole them and did the same. Wait, did I just damn it, I just read the same paragraph twice. I'm so sorry, everyone. Anyway, at any rate, we've now got half the teams in the country making a beeline for Tech's field. We've got reports that TCU is sending 30 players. Damn it, I'm doing it again. And Kentucky sending dozens. There is blood in the water, and Chuck, this is the most seismic event football has seen in hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. Oh no, it is repeated. Okay. I'm sorry to bail on a match. But I need to pack up. It's fine, no problem. Wait, you can't leave. You haven't finished arbitration. Sorry, nice meeting you. Abandoning a match will lower your rating from 1,200 to 1,150 automatically. It'll take you years to re-establish your rating. You'll never be able to play a match against someone of my caliber again. I'm a third category regional master. Stop. Please stop. You're out of line. We've worked for centuries to build a reputation of the Illinois chess community. This is bullshit. It was an emergency situation. Rule 37C permits a player to abandon the match in the event of emergency situation. This qualifies under that rule. Oh, what? Did a sports ball happen? I've been reading up on this theory, I can't help myself. So as the story goes, people from around the Mediterranean casually scooped up the remains of Alexander the Great, Cleopatra, which of course was a very easy thing to do, then sailed across the Atlantic, navigated through the Caribbean, found Mississippi Delta, sailed north, disembarked there for some reason, then decided that future Illinois, of all places, was where they buried them. Yeah, a settlement needs three things to thrive. Fresh water, White Castle, crystal. To argue that they would have bypassed their shared slider territory of Tennessee Valley, only to settle exclusively in steam burger lands, is absurd. People believe this shit? Yeah, we're talking a handful of people. But yeah, I wonder what motivates that. In this particular case, a couple of things are going on. First, some hucksters invented a story to try to make a buck. Second, it's sort of an origin story that latched on with some who really need to feel like people from the old world are supposed to be here. But more broadly, I think, a consequence of stealing land is that you never find the significance of it. Whatever lies you made up to justify your crimes will fade away. There are lots of people who grow up down there in a society missing spirit, purpose, anything sacred. Some feel that they've found it in this eternal paradise. Others have concluded that they'll never find it and have come to peace with that. Then there are some who in this post-consequence existence need to assign the sort of historical importance here that they see in Paris, Addis Ababa, or Bangkok. It's here in abundance, of course. It's just the history that they choose not to think about. I thought about that a lot when I worked on this game. I spent years negotiating with various people and properties along these fields. A lot of Native American tribes gave permission to players to pass through their lands, some didn't. Remember the game in Georgia a couple of weeks back, with those beautiful bums who threw the football on the highway? I bet you anything they didn't know that Ball Ground, Georgia, is the site of the Cherokee people once used to play games of stickball. By incredible coincidence, if you continue southwest on the Clemson field, you find Ball Play, Alabama, where the Cherokee did the same. Here they played stickball to resolve disputes. It was a rough game. Injuries abounded, but it was a genius innovation because it served as a substitute for warfare. For a while, everyone played, men, women, old, young, whoever. They called it Little Brother of War. Absolutely brilliant. A big sprawling game, far larger than any conventional sport would follow. Designed as a substitute for death, it's inspired me beyond words. I mean, does it remind you of anything?